The next update is about 35-year-old Northern California resident Sean McHugh. You guys are definitely going to remember McHugh. He's most famous for yelling at police through a megaphone, saying that they were protecting pedophiles. He literally accused them of protecting pedophiles. As it turns out, though, in 2010, he was charged with rape by way of force, duress, and menace, and rape by way of intoxication. For those charges, he ended up pleading guilty to one charge of unlawful sex with a 14-year-old child, for which he was given only 240 days in prison and 4 years of probation. Oh, and he had a restraining order issued against him in that same year for violently assaulting his girlfriend. And it was by far not the first incident, according to the court filing. So this was another real winner who, for some reason, was really attracted to someone like Donald Trump. Interesting, isn't it? Anyway, McHugh was indicted on 8 felonies and 2 misdemeanor charges, and he was attempting to get 5 of them dismissed because he said they were too vague, and he was simply exercising his First Amendment rights on January 6th. Well, in a snarky response, Judge John Bates wrote, quote, "Even a criminal code written by God could not satisfy McHugh's test for vagueness. The Constitution's test is designed for mere mortals." So obviously he denied McHugh's request, and it appears that prosecutors are not offering this guy a plea deal. Either that or he's rejected their offers because they're all preparing for trial, and his trial is scheduled to begin May 31st. So they anticipate 7 days for both sides to present their arguments. I will definitely give you guys a play-by-play on that one. Next up is Anthime Gionet, also known as Tim Gionet, or online, his handle is Baked Alaska. Gionet is still facing the charges from January 6th, but he was also arrested in December of 2020 for assaulting a bouncer outside of an Arizona restaurant. Well, in November of 2021, Gionet was found guilty of pepper spraying this man. He refused to leave the bar. He was trying to get him to leave, and he pepper sprayed him. And because Gionet has become a popular online figure who openly promotes racist beliefs, white supremacist beliefs, the prosecutor basically wanted to make an example out of him to dissuade others from following his lead. So they asked for 6 months in jail, which was the maximum allowed for the charges against him. Unfortunately, Scottsdale City Court Judge James Blake said he was torn about what was appropriate in this case, and he ended up sentencing Gionet to only 30 days in jail. I mean, should we even question anymore why we have so many repeat offenders in America? It's a joke. It is a complete joke. 30 days for a violent act, less than a year for violating a 14-year-old child. We're a laughingstock, you guys. This is unbelievably obscene. So anyway, in regard to the Capitol attack, Gionet is due back in court this month on the 17th, but it's just for a status conference. Now, here's the funny part about the story about Gionet. These conspiracy theorists have created their own hell. They're all eating each other, and it's so much fun to watch. I mean, you guys may have heard something about this, and you probably know about the Gateway Pundit. It's a right-wing blog that's been implicated in propagating all kinds of conspiracy theories. They're even being sued right now for defamation for pushing the false story about 2 Georgia election workers helping to rig the 2020 election. Well, now, according to the Daily Beast, Gionet and Gateway Pundit founder Jim Hoft are totally at war. Hoff published an article in December of last year in which he accused Gionet of being an undercover federal agent who purposely tried to incite violence at the Capitol on January 6th. These guys just see FBI informants and undercover agents everywhere. I swear to God, they're so paranoid. So in return, Gionet appeared on a far-right show because he doesn't want to lose all of his followers, right? So he goes on the show to deny Hoff's allegations. Well, the host of the show, a guy named Stu Peters, starts making comments about Hoff being interested in young boys. So now Hoff is suing Peters, and he's still pushing the idea that Gionet is a Fed. It's just too good. It's like the snake is eating its own tail. My next update is about Florida police officer Nathanial Tuck. This is a really interesting one. Tuck is accused of hitting an officer on January 6th, and following his arrest, it came to light that he was a member of the alt-right violent extremist group, the Proud Boys, Proud Bigots, as I prefer to call them. And I call them that because what they're known for is racist rhetoric, but also flashing a white power, white supremacy hand gesture. That's what these guys all do. And it's known there's blatant rampant racism and bigotry in this group, according to former members. They say, once you get in the group, they don't even try to hide it. So knowing that Tuck was a part of the Proud Bigots is significant because he was just implicated in a lawsuit brought by a man named Jason Friend. Friend is a Black man and a former law enforcement officer himself. He's also an Army veteran. He alleges that in November of 2019, he was sitting in his driveway in his vehicle, and he said he was listening to music that reminded him of his mother. He apparently had just lost his mother a couple of months earlier. So Friend was very emotional. As he explains it, he grew up without a father, so his mother meant the world to him. Well, apparently, instead of the neighbor just going and knocking on the window saying, "Hey, can you turn it down?" this idiot goes and calls the police to complain about the music being too loud. So that's when Friend says that these officers assaulted him, one of whom was Nathanial Tuck. The officers allege that Friend became violent, but there's a video that just recently went viral on TikTok, which shows the cops dragging him out of his car, punching him, and then using a taser on him repeatedly, then kneeling on his back as he's screaming and pleading with them to get off because he says he can't breathe. Gee, where have we heard that before? Then the officers are heard in this video and they're cursing at Friend. He's trying to talk with them. They're cursing at him. They're yelling and cursing at the neighbors because now the neighbors are out there. They're begging them to stop. And in fact, in the video, this Nathanial Tuck guy is heard screaming at a neighbor and saying, quote, "Shut the fuck up." So in regard to this incident and how he was treated, Friend said, quote, "It's a big cover up from the beginning to end. This story has to be told." And remember, this is a former cop himself. And he also pointed out that it was a simple noise complaint. He was in his own driveway. No crime had been committed. No one had been hurt. So, a cop, Nathanial Tuck, who joined a racist, violent extremist group, was also involved in an alleged attack on an unarmed Black man, a former officer and Army veteran who did nothing wrong and who could have died like George Floyd. I'd like to say I'm shocked, but yeah. So Tuck claims that he became radicalized by watching Antifa videos. He said, quote, "I watched hours of Antifa videos, which then led me to Gavin videos. He spoke the truth, which sparked my interest." So the Gavin to whom he's referring is Gavin McInnes. That's the founder of the Proud Bigots. And he's a vocal racist, homophobe, anti-Semitic piece of shit. So, it sure sounds like McInnes is inciting violence and hate, doesn't it? Anyway, I'll let you guys know when I hear more about this case as well, both the January 6th portion, but also this other piece of the puzzle now telling us who this Nathanial Tuck is and his days before January 6th.